What's up, everybody? It's your boy Wes Grant. You're watching Urban Nerd, this channel where I give my nerd reviews on today's nerd news, but I also give my reviews on shows and TV shows. And today's TV shows, this is a special episode. I have not watched SuperNatural in about 3 or so years. I need to get back on that because I just saw one of the most awesome episodes ever. And it is an episode of Sam and Dean going into the Scooby-Doo world. And this episode is called Scoobynatural. It was, oh my god, it was just, like from the trailers, the commercials, I just want to see this. And Sam and Dean in the Scooby world, Dean was forever trying to get into Daphne. And I tell you right now, from when I was a kid, from all of the kids, Daphne was a hot thing, Everybody knew, like, when you saw Daphne, like, oh, she's that one. But I tell you what, man, people would be sleeping on that Thelma. Thelma got the thick. But except, we didn't see that thing, but it's just so funny because the episode starts off, they go into the, they got the whole new pad or something. I don't know. They're always getting new like a new layer or something like that. So I don't know what's happened because, like I said, I haven't seen it in years. But good to see Castiel still up in this. But so they go and they're trying to turn on the TV. They get sucked into the TV, and then they were like, "Yo, what's going on?" They're like, "We're cartoonies." And then Dean slaps Sam, and you see the marks still left on the face. What the hell? He's like, "Yeah, we're cartoons." And then they're going around, plus their car got somehow sucked in there. They don't know how, but it's sucked in there. Then they go to like a malt shop, and then that's when Dean realizes, yo, that's a that's a Scooby-Doo mobile or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Scooby-Doo van. And then they go inside, they see, Daphne, Scooby, Shaggy, Fred, Velma, all of them just dancing. So then that's when, Dean calls dibs on Daphne, which y'all saw in the trailer, and from then it's just shenanigans left and right. They go, they introduce themselves, Dean's trying to get in those cheeks. So then what else is going on? Like, so and then they apparently Scooby, he gets inherited like $1 million, but they go to the place. That's when they realize they gotta stay the night in order to inherit the $1 million. There's other people, and then like Dean's still trying to get in those cheeks. But except Daphne's like, silly boy, like boys don't sleep in the same room with girls. So then he's bunking up with Fred and then Sam, and then it's funny because before they left the mall shop, Scooby, you know what they do? They make those big sandwiches, and then Dean makes up a sandwich too, puts it in his mouth. It's like he's basically like telling Sam, like, look, I can fit this. It's like I can say it was just funny. The episode goes through, someone gets killed. That's when they were like, wait a second, this ain't the way it's supposed to happen. This episode will go like that. And then Dean and Sam, and Castiel shows up, and that's when they realize, that this ain't the way Scooby-Doo episodes go. So and then Scooby-Doo gang, they think everybody's fake, so they just think it's that thing. But Dean and Sam, they know what's real going on. The people are getting killed left and right. Then when they drop the hammer, like, yo, this is real. And then Fred gets thrown against a room, Shaggy gets thrown out the window, Daphne gets slammed, and Velma gets slammed up into the corner. They realize, yo, are you serious? This is real? That's when they start freaking out. Sam, Dean, tell them to get into it, like, yo, just, and then Dean has a speech, tells them, like, yo, y'all have been fighting psychos. Y'all are not weak. Y'all can take this on. And together, we can take it. And then Fred's like, yo, so we can really take them on? And then Dean's like, fuck yeah, we can. You know what I'm saying? It's just, like I said, this was just such a fun episode. I wish I actually had a series of this. I hope they do this again, because this thing was just so fun. And then of course, they showed them all the weapons that they fight, and then they're like, oh, so do we get them? And then Dean's like, no. So he tells Sam, like, yo, we can't have them fighting with these, because it'll mess up, it'll change the whole way Scooby-Doo goes on. You know what I'm saying? So then he tells Fred to do what he does best, make a plan. And then they make a plan. And then they're telling how everything's going, how when they come through, you're going to hit the chain, then the axe is going to chop down, the coconut's going to fall, and they're going to slide through. And then they implement the what's called, the trap, but the trap doesn't work, and then Dean's like, yeah, and tells Sam, remember, the traps never work. He's like, Daphne, implement plan B. And they all run into different things, and then that's when the guys chase him. I guess they put some weighted metal inside these books. Scooby gives it to the ghost. It drops down in a hole, and then they got the salt ring, and then that's how they, save everybody. Turns out this is a little kid. I don't know from what episode, because like I said, I haven't seen it in years, but apparently this kid's been being made to do this. and he's a spirit, and he wants to just be free. And Sam and Dean, they're like, oh, okay, and they realize, you know, this kid is innocent, so they don't want to kill this thing in a gruesome way. So therefore, they basically tell them to do this favor. The ghost turns into like a regular person, and then they basically tell the Scooby Gang that, yeah, you're right, ghosts aren't real. You know, you knew this the whole time, because they don't, like, because you can see, like, this being real has really messed them up. But except there was an episode that I've seen movies where they've realized that ghosts are real, so they should be able to handle this, but whatever. Not in this gruesome way, I guess, people getting ripped up and dying, because even though the ghosts were real in the movies, no one really died, or gruesome ways like this. So, therefore, Dean basically wants to make them back to pure, and then at the end, you know, Velma kisses Sam, and then that's when Dean's like, yo, it's the quiet ones. I should have realized she was down for it. You know what I'm saying? So, that's pretty much how the episode ends. They get zapped back up to the real world, and then they burned a little knife that was holding the kid captive in the TV egg. So, like I said, as far as episodes, I don't, like, as grades, I'll give this an A. I don't know about A+, but I'll definitely give it an A. Like, might even say A+, because I didn't know what to expect. I just saw it at the trailers, and the episode was just fun. I could watch it over and over and over again. So, therefore, that's my thing about it. Check it out. Like, if you don't watch SuperNatural, you don't have to watch any episode of SuperNatural. Watch this, Scoobynatural. Y'all need to see this. Check it out. I'm done. So, remember to, you know, I don't even know what this is. Check out my reviews of my playlist of other shows that I watch, or playlist of other shows I watch, because I don't do this normally. So remember, subscribe, check out the playlist. You're watching Suburban Nerd, and you've just been nerdified. Catch you guys on the next review of something. All right.